Hi everyone, really good to join you. I'm going to read the Gospel for this Sunday, and I'm going to start that by first lighting a candle and praying that the light of Jesus shines on you and me as we listen to his word. Jesus Christ is the light of the world, a light no darkness can quench. Listen to the Gospel of Christ according to St. John. Glory to you, O Lord. Jesus went off to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, and a large crowd followed him, impressed by all the wonderful things he did. It was shortly before the feast of the Passover. And looking up, Jesus saw the crowds approaching and said to Philip, "Where can we buy some bread for these people to eat?" He only said this to test Philip. He himself knew exactly what he was going to do, and Philip answered, "So much money would not buy enough for a small piece each." One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said, "There is a small boy here with 5 loaves and 2 fish. But what is that amongst so many people?" Jesus said, "Make the people sit down." There was plenty of grass there, and as many as 5,000 men sat down. Then Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and gave them out to all who were sitting ready. He then did the same with the fish, giving out as much as was wanted. And when they had eaten enough, he said to the disciples, "Pick up the pieces left over so that nothing gets wasted." So they picked them up and filled 12 hampers with scraps left over from the meal of 5 barley loaves. The people, seeing this sign that he had given, said, "This really is the prophet who is to come into the world." Jesus, who could see they were about to come and take him by force and make him king, escaped back to the hills by himself. This is the gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. With God, just a little bit of love, a little bit of kindness goes a very long way, especially when people most need it. A while back, I was feeling pretty low, not great, really sad inside. And I had to visit a family that I hadn't seen in a long time. And when I knocked on the door, the dad opened the door, and a little boy called Mohammed, he ran up to me and he flung his arms around me and he said, "I missed you." And that one little thing made me feel so blessed, so good inside. It was like a little miracle. It wasn't like a little, it was a little miracle. Just a little bit of love can go a very long way, especially when we most need it. People need it in our gospel story today. The story of Jesus feeding the 5,000 people with just a little bit of bread, just a little bit of fish. People really need it. They're in the wilderness. What's the wilderness? Like this desert place. And there's nothing there. There's no shops, there's no bakers, there's no places to buy food or drink. And Jesus says to his friends, "What are you going to feed them with?" And they said, "We have nothing." And someone says, "Well, there's a little boy there with 5 loaves and 2 fish. And everyone is like, "Well, what good is that?" It's so little, and so many people need food. Well, with God, just a little bit of love goes a very long way. And the story from the gospel, a miracle happens. It's a very special thing that happens. And Jesus takes the bread, he takes the little bit of kindness, he takes the little bit of love that little boy shared, and he thanks God for it. Thank you that you've given us this. And then he blesses it, and then he shares it. And it's enough. And there's so much left over. There's enough. There's enough in this world to go round. It just needs to be shared. Anyway, so from that little offering, everyone is fed. No one is hungry. We often think, when we look at the world and we look at people and we see so many people suffering and we see so many people hurting inside, and we think, what could I do? What good could I do? There's always a little something that you have. And you can ask God to bless the little thing that you have, even if it's just a hug. And God will make that little bit of love go a very long way, especially when people need it the most. I thank God for that little boy in the story. I pray that I can be just like him